Hey guys, today's shave, Bufflehead, and you got the dick butt picture at the top, and Updog is the scent. And from the picture up here, you know that it's almost a joke, pretty much. And I think that's what it was. I did a little bit of research, and it looks like Updog was a small batch made for the wet shaving subreddit from Bufflehead, and they did a remake of the Idle Hour scent, which is some bergamot, petitgrain, black pepper, and then something else. And it's a nice scent. Citrus, a little bit of floral, and a little bit of spice. And but I think the whole shtick was, when it first came out, everybody said that it was hot dog water. It smelled like hot dog water. So people joke back and forth about, oh, I smell barbecue hot dogs. Oh, you don't get the ketchup, or you don't get the mustard scent in there. Yeah, I get that. So it was all pretty awesome. And that was back in, I think, 2016. So this is Updog. And it's an awesome scent. Of course, it's in their duck fat base. That is such a good performer. This is my first time ever trying it. And another first time today is this little brush. And I say little because, man, I just got this guy in the mail, and so small. And one of those things where I guess all the pictures that I had ever seen of it were so close up that you have no perspective. This little guy right here. Here's a Sharpie marker, normal standard Sharpie marker for comparison. So it is a tiny guy. Obviously the short handle is going to be more conducive for a person who face lathers, and that's not me, but I didn't know that. So let's just use it. I like soft, and this is a 3-band knot. As you can see, the black stripe here in the badger is not all that thick. It definitely doesn't go all the way down to the kind of the root here. And it's a 3-band knot, silver tip kind of knot, so not a lot of backbone, and that's kind of where I like them. And so I may like, there's a 24 millimeter knot. I believe the code for this one's 4125/1. I believe that number after the slash will tell you the size. So /2 might be a 26 millimeter, and I think it goes up after that. I'm not sure. But it's a Thader brand. This one's got a little bit of corrosion, rust on the logo. I'm sure they just left it standing up on some water, which is unfortunate. I'll see if I can clean that off. I've had it soaking for just a little bit. I did I kind of cleaned it up on a bar of soap just to kind of get the feel of it, and it feels really good. So it's super tiny, but let's see if it performs in a big way. And this is a Maggard, nice long handle from them. I just like the way it looks with this Gillette Tech head. And this is a pre-war Tech. You can tell by the slight V shape to the holes here. Pre-war. So let's put and that's the great thing about these Maggard handles. It's a stainless steel handle, and all their handles will fit these vintage heads and the Parker heads and all those things. And so it's really quite nice. Interchange those guys around. I showed you, the blade today is a Gillette Platinum, which I've got 10 uses on. I like it in a lot of different razors, so let's try it in the Tech. So now, one of the nice things about the Tech is that it holds via these 4 tabs in the corners. It holds a DE blade in perfect alignment. And it doesn't have to be a stainless steel milled, CNC machined base plate. This is just stamped steel. I say steel, I should have said brass. It's a brass core, and it's plated. And it just doesn't have to be complicated if it's the right geometry. And this is, of course, good construction materials that have already lasted a lifetime, and so likely to last more. And it doesn't have to be. And these the Techs are just so common on eBay and stuff that it's a great way to get into the shaving hobby without spending a lot of money, and you still get good equipment. It's very mild, and so there are some people who have trouble finding the right angle for the handle, because since it's mild, you have to have that angle right to get a good close cut. But the good news is, if you don't have the exact angle right, you're not cutting yourself, you're not generating irritation, you're just not cutting any hairs. So it's either you get it right or it's still comfortable, kind of thing. But if you get it right, you're rewarded with comfort and a close shave. All right, so I think it's worth pursuing, and I didn't actually have to chase it down too long to find it. All right, I wet my face during the last cut. So let's take this tiny little brush. Holds a surprising amount of water. And let's just do a 30-second load and roll around in 1 second, and there we go. So maybe this would be a good travel brush because it's so dang small. Now, I should got a lot of water, but it is stirring up some bubbles. 15 seconds of loading, that's all. It's very airy, so if that stuff drops down the sink, don't even worry about chasing it down. 3 more seconds. I can feel it thickening a little bit. The soap. All right, I'm gonna grab a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna clean off my jug here. All right, I'm probably gonna get my fingers pretty messy. It's got a great little handle. I think it's a wonderful design. It's just minute. It's just so small. But I can feel already the relaxed nature of the hair bristles, and so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a wonderful, comfortable brush to work with. So stir it for a second, and then let's add water to it. This brush is so small, it makes my lather bowl seem huge. Yeah, that citrus is coming out nicely. Man, that is nice. I learned something today. I was looking up what petitgrain was. I was really just curious what it smelled like. And I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I mean, that's what it looks like, petitgrain. Or petitgrain, that's just how it looks. I discovered that it also is a product of the bitter orange plant / tree or whatever it is. Neroli is derived from the blossoms of that plant, while the petitgrain is from the twigs and other parts, not quite the blossoms. So it's 1/10 of the price of the oil, the oils, the fragrance oils or the essential oils or whatever. It's 1/10 of the price of the neroli. And sometimes people actually substitute it for neroli and kind of rip you off, I was reading. So you'd have to pay very close attention to ingredient lists and things like that. So I learned something. Bitter orange plant. Well, yeah, it's this, whatever floral is in here. Maybe it's those orange blossoms from the, no, it's petitgrain. Oh, grapefruit is the other. The citrus is grapefruit. I'm a big fan of this. That is just terrific. The orange, the florals, the grapefruit, it's all coming together. The pepper, no doubt, is in there, but it's kind of muted, which is fine. And I think it probably acts as just kind of a mellowing agent to make it a little bit more sophisticated and multi-dimensional. Yeah, that's just a really nice scent. like a mature orange. It's just got a lot of interest to it. I like it. I like it. I don't know if I'm going to have enough shave lather. We'll just see. I can always go back to the puck, right? A little pre-shave. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Usually not. All right, splash a little water on my face. Let's see how this brush works. These are expensive brushes. I looked up this very model, and Maggards is selling them right now. It's not like an old brush. Oh yeah, that is a soft brush. If you like cloudy soft, then this is going to be a brush for you. The lather is dissipating. I bet I'm going to have to go back to the tub. Maybe even kind of treat it more like a face lather. With this small brush, it's possible that it just isn't able to didn't pick up as much soap, you know? Wow, yeah. I'm basically putting all the lather that was in the bowl here on my face. All right then, so let's switch. Let's switch to kind of more of a face lather. I'm going to put a little water in the tub so that we can kind of get, it was feeling a little pasty toward the end. It's possible that I needed some more water in there in the mixing process to kind of stir up some lather. All right, so definitely has some soap on the brush. We'll do the face lather process. Well, oh man, holy cow, this is comfy. Well, I can see how people like these brushes. And now I'll just add water as needed to the brush. I could also see how some people regard this as kind of a floppy knot. So the golden nib, this lather is nuts. Golden nib puts out knots kind of like this for a lot cheaper. $136 is the price point for this little brush. Well, and if you're looking for an expensive brush with this kind of softness, then maybe this is where you land. You know, I don't really know. I know that if you're looking for a more firm backbone, then Declaration is kind of the top of the food chain when it comes to those kind of knots. So maybe Thader is one of the top guys when you're talking about softness and cloud like features and whatnot. How about that? Now, this is the grief I have and why I don't face lather. I've got all this great lather on the outskirts right here. So I'm going to take this and put it in my shave bowl because I need it for future passes probably. There we go. And I don't need this super thick stuff right up there. Put that in the shave bowl too. All right, there we go. Okay, we'll add just a little bit more water and then smooth out what's already here. Probably generate more lather that I need to manage and move into the bowl. I don't know. There are several nice things about face lathering though. You get a good massage. You get good cleaning action because you're mixing it on your face. So there's plenty of cleaning action good for your skin and all that, you know. Okay. All right, this smells terrific. This is good stuff. I guess if you can get Idle Hour, and Bufflehead soaps are so hard to get. To get the ones that I have recently shown you, I had to buy a big old box of soap to get it. Now here's a good thing. Sometimes you buy a big old box of soap to get something that you really want that's hard to get, and half of it is stuff you can't use. Well, this one really worked out. I enjoy so many. I got a lot of Mickey Lee, Declaration Grooming, some really good soaps that I enjoy, and so it's really a blessing, that's for sure. All right, so mild razor with a nice sharp blade in it. 10 uses. So this is not really in the marathon territory like my 36 use feather, and this is really comfortable. This just smells terrific. Had to sneeze there. It is a bright scent, but it's not obnoxious. I'm a night shaver, and so I don't really need uplifting scents to kind of wake me up, you know, like a lot of people do when they're morning shavers. 24 hours worth of growth is probably what we're dealing with here. Hard water as usual from this location. Of course, this Magger's handle gives me crazy amounts of grip because of this pretty aggressive knurling. But notice I'm not holding it with a wide stance. I say this all the time. You're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm not, shaving with this type of grip because this doesn't give you very much movement with your head. If you hit a ridge or something, then the razor kind of plows through or generates irritation. A lighter grip like this, a lot easier for it to move and glide over your skin, keeping a very light touch. So I'll bet this particular soap just needed me to have a little bit more water in my brush when I loaded, or to just load for longer. So next time I'll try to remember that. Get the water out of my goatee. All right, let's see how much is in the brush now. And we can kind of revive it a little bit with several drops of water. See what else is in there. See, not a whole lot, and that's kind of what you get when you face lather. Now that's enough to shave with, but I'm going to go ahead and scoop up some of this that I saved from the first pass. That first pass is just so rich because you generated it from the soap, and then the second pass is just the second and third are just very different. So I prefer the consistency of the bowl method, but does that mean that you can't refine your technique? Maybe get better skilled at water management and making sure that you get plenty of soap on your brush. Sure you can. A lot of people out there are face latherers and have been that for a nice long time. Just kind of adding a few drops of water here and there. It's just feeling a little almost on the dry side. some of those suds that are on the side of the brush active in play here. There we go. You know, bowl lathering is a skill, and face lathering is a skill. So I'm not going to diss face lathering. And I've seen guys try bowl lathering a couple times. They're face latherers. They try a bowl once or twice, and then they put it down on videos. On the basis of they weren't able to, make it work after just a couple of tries. Now this right here, this shave that I'm getting right now is crazy smooth. And so they put down bowl lathering as if they have, sampled it to its fullest, and they haven't at all. And I'm not going to do that to face lathering. And I've face lathered a good bit, especially in the beginning. And I did learn. I had a mug of soap, and I had a puck of soap in the bottom of the mug, and I learned how much water. Here's what I would do. I would take that mug and I'd fill it with, I don't know, maybe a centimeter of water, and take my dry badger brush to it and just start mixing. And then I had learned how much water to put on top of that soap because then the water would combine with the soap. It would get in the brush, and it would be just enough to last me my 3 passes. And so I learned. But this little tiny knot, man, how's that going to hold a bunch of lather for you? Interesting. Now, it's got a great face feel. And I got a feeling the knot is tiny, because if they were to add more loft to it, if they were to grow that knot, then it would just be way too floppy. And it just wouldn't work. Probably tie itself in knots. So that's my guess. All right. Yeah, face feels great. Let's rinse. Okay, I'm going to throw a little bit of water kind of back on my face to help with the whole lathering thing. And I don't have too much more of that reserved lather. This is pretty much all I have. So surely that I can just kind of spread that around, and that'll be good. So this is an expensive brush, like I was saying. However, I got it on the used market, and you saw the rusty bottom, and I'm sure that's what saved me some money. And so I'm glad about that. I definitely didn't pay anywhere near retail price for this guy. Bought him used, and otherwise I wouldn't have. And I'm really, now that I look at it at that retail price, which I didn't before I bought it, I was like, wow, I got a great deal. So we'll just play around with it and see how I like it. I'm enjoying it. It's a really nice soft knot. Just see if that, handle and stuff. Sometimes little short handles, if they're smooth like that, they can get water on them and soap while you're mixing them because they're so short. And then you have to have this death grip. On them to be able to do your job. And sometimes that's just not fun. All right, let us put just a little right there. This is a terrific lather. It's really slick, working really well. Ooh, that might generate some. That was an experimental slide right there. I might get either the greatest cut of my life, or the closest shave of my life, or a pretty bad case of rash. So we'll see what happens. All right, there we go. That's 3 passes. I bet we've got some good results right here. Let's take a look. I do have a little bit of redness in that area, but it doesn't really feel like much of anything. Now that my face is still a little moist, I'm going to go ahead and put on my balm. This is Tuscany by Stirling. I like it a lot. My general purpose go-to lately. I also like the Nivea post-shave balm. Just the standard one. It's got a touch of alcohol in it, which my oily skin can benefit from. But mostly it's very soothing, and it's also got just kind of a general manly smell that I enjoy. It goes with, so many things. So I liked this scent. Just a couple of notes. If it's truly, and I believe it is, a copy of Idle Hour, a remake, then the notes I told you about, the citrus and the petitgrain, the grapefruit, kind of the citrus, and the little bit of black pepper, are combined in a ratio that I'm using it. I'm not thinking, well, this is really similar to some others, because this is a very popular combination. Pepper, spice, orange, and florals. Those very, very common combination, but it's been rendered here in a way that's clean and a little bit refreshing, but not super. It's not super pungent, with the bitterness. It's been softened by some of those components, and I just really enjoyed it. Kind of fruity and floral and refreshing all at the same time, and almost like you've never smelled something like that before. So, maybe this is one of the reasons people are clamoring for Bufflehead soaps. Probably is. The tech did great today. Looks like I do have a little weeper. Yep, that slide I told you, I bet that's right in the area where I did it. So got a little one right there. So I used up all my, I can't give you a ratio today because since I didn't load for long enough in that first one, I should have had maybe a little bit more water in my brush, as it turns out. Had to just kind of switch to face lathering, and that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. And the nice creamy lather, really happy with that. So this is a terrific soap. I love the feel of the brush. I can see why it's got fans. I can see why it's got detractors, because if you're one of the ones that like the declaration side with a lot of backbone, soft tips, but a lot of backbone, then this is not at all the brush for you. A cheaper version of this kind of brush, I might recommend a Macedo silver tip, maybe the Frank Shaving silver tip, but especially the Golden Nib silver tip premium version is going to be very similar to this, in my opinion. And otherwise, this is a really nice one. I'm really happy to have it. Have to play around with it for a little while. We'll see if it sticks around. With that short handle, I definitely think the bloom, the size of the knot is just fine, especially for my face, since I have a goatee. I have a narrow tract of land here to work with, and so it's more maneuverable. So happy with that for its first pass, for its first try. The platinum worked really well in the razor, so this is a good shave. Here's what it looks like kind of wet, with the tips all kind of gathered and joined. And here's what it looks like dried and stropped on a towel. So it's a good size knot, relatively speaking. It is small compared to the big knots that are out there today, but it served me very well. I was not lacking in terms of the knot size. I didn't feel, man, this is small. It felt great. I felt the handle was a little small, but and it does require you to work more in the bowl. You have to because it's shorter. You have to do the working instead of letting the length of the brush do the working for you. But yeah, interesting. When I get back home, I think I'm definitely going to have a head-to-head comparison between this little Thader and my premium silver tip from the Golden Nib, because they are both just super comfy, soft tips, and a relaxed backbone that I enjoy. and see if perhaps, because that golden nib knot, I think was $25, and you find a handle. You can get a handle for $10. For $35, you've got something that might be just as good as something costing $100 more retail. So I'm definitely going to do a comparison like that. Probably not the month of August, because that's my austere August, shaving with one set of gear. So maybe in September if I can remember. Well, that sure was fun to try. And we'll definitely give the Thader several uses for sure. With it being so popular and well regarded, I want to make sure I really flesh it out and get a good feel for it. So excellent shave today. Nice close result. I did have a little weeper right there, but it's pretty much healed up, and I got a really close cut right here, and definitely everywhere else. Nye BBS everywhere else, and I can't go against the grain. That's just me. But I think that's about as good as I can do in that situation. So very nice. The angle on the tech is just kind of natural for me to get. I listen for the hair cutting. I feel it, and so I keep changing the handle angle until I just zone in when I feel the most effective cutting. And we're good all the way around. There we go. Hope there was something here for you. Probably not too many Updog videos online, so there we go. Glad to provide that one. Bufflehead, tremendous base. And next time I'll just make sure my brush knot is a little wetter, if I can remember that. And there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care, and good night.